Welcome back to my channel. I finally can say happy fall, y'all, because it's finally and officially fall now. Today I'm bringing you 4 more easy and affordable fall decor DIYs. You can copy what I do, you can put your own twist on it. I'm here to help you find inspiration for your own fall home decor, harvest party decor, or gift ideas for friends and family. If you like what you see, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. All right, let's get started. I'm going to start off with my vintage truck DIY. The trucks have been everywhere the last few years, but I still think they're adorable, so I was pretty excited to find this unfinished wood truck at the Dollar Tree. I'm not going to use it as a wall hanging, so I just cut the twine. I knew I wanted to paint the truck green, but I couldn't find the perfect color, so I used a shade called Old Ivy and lightened it by adding my antique parchment paint, which is basically a cream color. I'll use this exact mix green color on the next DIY too. Instead of the traditional orange color, I decided I wanted cream colored pumpkins, so I painted them with my antique parchment paint. Next, I'm using my antique wax paint to paint the railings and I actually have no idea what those are called, but the part above the wheel, I'm using the antique wax on. I really love Waverly's antique wax. It has the look of stain, but it's easier to use and does not have a strong smell. Since I'm not hanging this truck, I'm going to fill the holes in with spackle and let them dry before painting over it. I got a package of unfinished wood fall sayings from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this Give Thanks one by attaching it to the leftover piece of square dowel rod I had. I'm going to use a combination of wood glue and hot glue just because hot glue dries quickly and will help hold it in place. Next, I'm going to glue 2 little natural wooden pumpkins to either side of my sayings. I got these from the Dollar Tree also. I'm going to hot glue everything to the tires of the truck. I'm adding this stick, which came in a package from the Dollar Tree, to the back to give it a little more stability when it's standing. I touched up the paint over the holes I spackled, and now I have a finished project. In total, this DIY cost me less than $2. For my next DIY, I'm going to make a topiary out of these unfinished wooden pumpkins I got from the Dollar Tree. I picked up a total of 4 of them, and I'm going to paint them each differently, but in coordinating colors. First, I took off the raffia bows they come with and tried to scrape most of the glue off. I also removed the twine hangers since I would be stacking the pumpkins, not hanging them. On each pumpkin, I'm going to paint part of it with this antique wax paint, but it will either be the color of the foreground color or the background color, depending on the pumpkin. The other colors I will be using are a green and a cream color. With the antique wax, I almost always wipe away the paint after I paint on it because that is what gives it the stained look instead of just having a brown paint on there. I created my own shade of green by combining a shade of green called Old Ivy with my antique parchment paint, which is basically a cream colored. I use this mixed color for several of my fall DIYs. Here I tested out if I needed painter's tape or if I could freehand it and keep the green off of my antique wax paint. I was able to do it for the most part, so I didn't do any more taping. On this next pumpkin, I just reversed the green and brown colors so they aren't the same, but they do coordinate. Next, I start on my first brown and cream colored pumpkin. And on the next one, I paint the opposite with the cream in the foreground and the brown in the background. When they are all finished, I'm going to take the top one and attach wooden words, Welcome Fall, that I got out of my Dollar Tree pack to the top one. I'm going to secure it using wood glue. Next, I'm going to wrap the stem of the pumpkin with twine. This twine I just had as part of my supplies in my craft room. So I'm just wrapping it around, hot gluing it, sometimes securing it with my clip. Now it is time to attach all of the pumpkins together. I will be using a combination of my wood glue and my hot glue to attach all of them together. Next, I'm going to add some wood beads, and I'm using the string to string them through this button. I put a total of, I believe, 14 beads on both sides, and then I knotted the end in a double knot. After I knotted the end in a double knot, I just cut off the extra, make sure they were laying right, and then I'm going to hot glue them to the top right on the twine that I wrapped around the stem of the pumpkin. So the beads don't cover the welcome fall words. I'm just putting a dab of hot glue so that they will fall on either side of the welcome fall sign. All finished, this DIY cost me about $6 to complete. For this next DIY, I'm going to start with 2 unfinished wooden boxes from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to attach them using wood glue. I use clips to help glue the boxes together tightly. Once the glue has dried, I'm once again using my antique wax and I'm going to paint the boxes on 4 sides. I'm not painting the inside of the box since it won't show, but you could if you wanted to. After the wax paint dries, I use painter's tape and tape the bottom and top row of the box. Then I paint the middle row orange. This shade is called Harvest Orange. I apply a generous amount and wipe off the extras. After this coat dries, I will add 2 more thin coats of the orange paint. Then I will remove the painter's tape. I'm going to use another wooden sign from the same package I got from the dollar store. I'm not painting this, I'm just gluing the natural wood saying on using a combination of wood glue and hot glue. You can also get mini bales of hay from the dollar store. I got these 2 last year, and I'm going to reuse them by placing them inside the boxes. Next, I'm going to use 2 bouquets of fall flowers I picked up from the Dollar Tree. You can see that the hay doesn't fit the length of the box, so in the middle I'm placing the florals. I just arranged them so that they're covering that gap but not covering the Farm Fresh words. I'm going to use 2 pumpkin clips on each end of the crate. These also came from the Dollar Tree. They came in a pack of 3. I used 1 for a DIY in my last fall DIY video. If you haven't seen that, it will be linked below. Then I'm going to add these mini velvet pumpkins that came in a pack of 5. I believe from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to place them at the front corners and next to the pumpkin clips using hot glue. And this is the finished project. You can use this on a coffee table, as a centerpiece, on your Thanksgiving table, or in your fall bathroom decor. In total, it cost me just about $7.50. For this DIY, I'm going to repurpose a picture frame I got from the Goodwill. If you haven't thought of checking out the secondhand store to make new signs for your home, it's a great source. I also got these glittery letter stickers for the wording in my sign. These letters were pricey, but I got them 50% off at Hobby Lobby. If you have a Cricut, you can use that instead. I do not have a Cricut yet. You can see I only paid $2.99 for this frame, which is pretty well made and sturdy. But I am going to paint it using my Rust-Oleum Metallic Warm Gold Spray Paint. I gave it a total of 3 coats, letting it dry in between and have a completely new frame. Next, I cut out the letters I want to use in this frame so I can see how I want to arrange them. I want to spell out Cozy Vibes. I put the cardboard backing back in the frame without the glass so I can lay out my letters directly on there. Now, it would be up to you whether you wanted to put the glass back in or use the sign without the glass. I decided to put the glass back in, and I have a sign that can be used for both fall and Christmas. And it only cost me about $6 to make.